The Baltimore Ravens may be the most frustrating team in the NFL. Not because of how they manage the team off the field. No, that belongs to a different AFC North team. But it's the fact people keep on feeling like they underachieve year after year after year after year. But they're still really good. They're still one of the better teams in the NFL, one of the better teams in the AFC, and will have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. But how have they added to last year's team? What did they do in the offseason, and where did that position themselves in going for a Super Bowl title this season? Well, I'm excited to talk about today because the Baltimore Ravens very much are a team I look forward to watching because I love their coaching style. I love a lot of their players. They're fun to watch. They have a very physical defense. They have great safety play, one of my favorite things a defense can have. They have so many things I love, and yet I'm a Steelers fan. I'm not supposed to love the Baltimore Ravens, but they're a fun team, and they always get me excited to talk about them. So let's jump into it. Up first, really the only notable offseason free agent signing they made was DeAndre Hopkins, and DeAndre Hopkins is not what he once was. Thinking of him as a Texan or early on in his Cardinals career, that's just not what you're getting. He still has some good 50-50 ball ability, but he really didn't show much of it in Kansas City, and he really didn't look all that great in Tennessee. He's just an aging veteran, but Baltimore tends to like to bring in these aging veteran wide receivers. He's a big name, and every once in a while, he'll make you a catch that goes, there's DeAndre Hopkins. But to expect a lot of consistency with that this season is just having expectations he will not reach. Now talk about their other offseason additions, and this is really where I'm just going quick on the draft. I highlight the first two picks. They drafted Malachi Starks, one of my favorite players in this draft. I was frustrated when he was falling because I didn't get it. And when the Ravens were on the clock, this was before any pick got tipped or anything, I texted my dad, the Ravens are about to piss me off because I knew they were drafting Malachi Starks because it's such a Ravens pick. He's high IQ, great football player, very versatile, can play in the nickel, can play safety. He has a lot of tools Baltimore loves to use in the back end of their secondary. Plus, he's just a really good football player. When I watched the 2025 draft class, I didn't think there were many better football players than Malachi Starks in the draft. Just safeties are so undervalued, he was going to fall in the draft. Right or wrongly, Baltimore lucked out in the end. And pairing him up with Kyle Hamilton probably gives him the best safety duo in the NFL by a wide margin. Their next pick, though, Mike Green. And Mike Green is a very controversial player. I liked him as a player, and I'm going to strictly talk about him as a player in this. I'm not going to address the off-the-field issues. I am not as well versed in that as the NFL teams would be, or just anybody who is more connected to the source, so it's not my position to talk about it. But looking at Mike Green as a football player, he was better than a second-round pick. There was no doubt in my mind. There was no doubt in probably every scout's mind who watched him. He had the off-the-field issues, so he fell to the Ravens in the second round. And with what Mike Green is going to bring to them is a dynamic pass rusher I don't think they've had in a good while. To me, he is the most toolsy, best pass rushing prospect they have had in ages. He's better than Odafe Oweh. And that's saying a good bit because Odafe Oweh is a pretty solid player. I really like Mike Green, the player. He's fast, he's physical, he is good at taking on contact with offensive linemen. He doesn't really handle anything poorly. He's got finesse, he's got speed, he's got some good power, he's got some good hand movement, he fights off hands very well. He's an extremely talented player. The only questions with him are the off-the-field issues, which we just don't have the knowledge of as the Ravens do. And the Ravens drafted him, so they have to feel pretty comfortable with where those things stand at the moment. Look at this Ravens team as a whole. Obviously, their X factor is and will always be Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is one of the most talented players in the NFL. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And that's really where you want to be. You want to have one of the best players in the NFL that also plays the quarterback position, because that is the most important position on the field. He is extremely talented, and he will help the Ravens win games they probably shouldn't. And he's going to make some stupid plays. They're going to be like, how didn't they tackle him? What was going on there? Where? It doesn't make sense. That's the best way I can describe Lamar Jackson when he's on the football field. It doesn't make sense, but it somehow works. And now you look at it, Derrick Henry is going to be in the offense system for another year. It's not too complicated to play Derrick Henry, but he's still a force. He is getting older and older, which is a concern with the running back position, especially because he has had some lower body injuries, but there were no signs of slowing down last year. So at this point, I'm just going to have to give up on me saying, well, he's over 30. He's bound to slow down. No, he's superhuman. There's no other explanation. And you look at the receiving core, man, I really like the receiving core. DeAndre Hopkins, it's a whatever for me. He was a fine addition, veteran in the room. Zay Flowers, I've always been a big fan of. His draft year, I was really hyping him up. Rashard Bateman, his draft year, I was really hyping him up. I really like the Ravens receiving core, and I think it can be one of the better units in the NFL. Look at the tight end room, and the big question is, how much longer is Isaiah likely the number 2 tight end to Mark Andrews? Mark Andrews, as every Ravens fan will tell you, made a boo-boo in the AFC divisional round game against the Bills. It was just a horrible game from him. But he's still really good, and he is a very good safety net that has insane chemistry with Lamar Jackson. Isaiah Likely is a very talented player, but I still think Mark Andrews is the number 1 tight end. If we want to flip over and look at the defense, without a doubt, Kyle Hamilton is their X factor, and he's really going to be a bigger X factor this year because he's going to be allowed to do more things now with the Ravens drafting Malachi Starks. Malachi Starks is going to help Kyle Hamilton just play wherever he is needed. If they need him to match up man-to-man coverage on a tight end, on a receiver in the slot, he can do that. They need him to drop back in zone, he can do that. You need him just to be even a thumper in the middle of the field, he can do that. In drafting Malachi Starks, it's why I think it's such a great pick for the Ravens, because it frees up your best defensive player to just do more things, which is just great roster construction. Now, I do have concerns with the cornerback position. They did bring in Jair Alexander, but Jair Alexander has a major injury history. It's a major cause for concern. Marlon Humphreys, I really like to watch him play football, but it's getting to the point, like, he's not what he once was, and you can see him regressing more and more. They're a very interesting team with the cornerbacks, and it's probably where I draw the line at them being like, I had them as pretty much in the 3rd spot in the AFC. I just can't see them getting past Buffalo and KC with their current cornerback room. I think they'll win the division, though, and that's a big thing with Baltimore is their division kind of is there just for the taking. Unless an injury to Lamar Jackson happens, I have a hard time envisioning the Ravens not win the division. The Steelers are currently a train wreck, the Bengals are currently a train wreck, and the Browns are, well, always a train wreck, really. They have a perfect spot to go to the playoffs, maybe even get the 1 seed, and that would majorly help them having those 2 teams come to Baltimore and Kansas City and Buffalo. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And hey, if you want to keep on tuning in, this is a 32 in 32 days. A new season team preview is going to come out for each and every team for the next 32 days. This is day number 3 of it. Tomorrow is the Buffalo Bills. I'm excited to talk about them. And listen, Ravens fans, I know you're probably taking this with Gary Stahl. Oh, he's a Steelers fan. He doesn't have us as one of the best teams in the AFC. He doesn't think that we're the best team. We're going to win it all. I don't rule it out. I think the Baltimore Ravens are very talented and they can win it all. I love their coach. Harbaugh, I have a tremendous amount of respect for. But the Ravens have had some blunders that really frustrate you when the going gets tough. And that's just something that keeps in your head is that these mental blunders keep happening. And until they stop happening, I have to place them at 3rd in the AFC. But thank you very much for watching and have a great day.